Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna show you how to flush the brake fluid on your Kia Sedona or Kia Sorento. So we're gonna replace this old brake fluid with a lot of moisture in it, and we're gonna replace it with brand new brake fluid. And for this project, I'm gonna use the CanFlow brake fluid. I'm not sponsored by CanFlow, but it's a great project, and I'm gonna use .3. The reason why you want to change your brake fluid is when you got a lot of water inside of the brake fluid, liquid can be compressed no matter if it's water or brake fluid, but when you add heat on this system, the water evaporates and now you got some pockets of steam, and you don't want that because your brake pedal is gonna start to feel soft and squishy. So this is why we want to change the brake fluid, and you also are gonna prevent rust inside your brake system. So this is very cheap to do. This is very fast. The key to preserve a car is maintenance. So don't be lazy on those things there. This is very fun to do and very cheap. So first you want to open the hood, and you're gonna see the reservoir of the brake fluid is right there. And you open the cap, you're gonna see that screen. What you want to do is to take a set of pliers like this and slowly work the screen. You want to pull gently on it like this, and you want to take your time. I'm sorry for the view. Okay, like this. So now I can remove it. Like this. And don't forget that the brake fluid is really bad for the car paint. So if you drop some fluid on paint, make sure to wipe that soon as you can, because it can lift the paint. I'm gonna show you how to know if your fluid is due to change. I didn't have the historic of this car, so I don't know if brake fluid has been changed before, but I got something with me that's a moisture tester, express for brake fluid. This is really cheap. I'm gonna put a link inside of the description. The tester tells you how much percentage of water you got inside of the fluid. So as you see now, there's none. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna put the tester inside of the fluid. So as you see, I got almost 2% of water inside of my brake fluid. I'm gonna show you how to make a flush properly and make sure that your pedal is gonna be firm after that. It's very easy, it's very cheap. I do it when I do my tire change every 1 or 2 years. A little trick for you: if you want to see where your level is, you just have to put a light behind the brake reservoir. By the way, I'm sorry if my English is not perfect. My first language is French. Okay, so now I know in camera it's hard to see where is the fluid, but to the eyes it's very easy to see. The line is just right there. What we want to do first is to remove much fluid we can inside of the reservoir, because this part of the fluid is not gonna have to be bleed by the brake system. So this portion of the brake fluid is gonna be already new. So we want to suck the old fluid directly from the reservoir, and to do that there's a couple of ways to do it. You can use my super duper vacuum system that work with a vacuum like this one. So just have to insert the tube inside of the system and start the vacuum to suck the fluid inside of your reservoir. But I got something very easy for you to do. You're gonna go on the kitchen and you're gonna steal that. Before to do anything, we're gonna put a rag under the reservoir, so any fluid will be catch with this rag. And I put a piece of hose, half an inch, so you're gonna be able to go inside of the reservoir and suck the fluid like this. Okay, now we're gonna take a look in the owner manual. I'm sorry, it's in French, but there is a brake fluid, and they said that we got 0.5, something around 0.5 liter or 0.6 quart of brake fluid in the system. And this is .3 or .4. So I suggest you to get a cup like this, and you're gonna be able to measure where we are with the fluid level that you remove. So I remove almost 0.1 liter of the brake system, so we're gonna have 0.4 left inside of it. Now that your reservoir is empty, you want to fill up the reservoir completely with brand new fluid. I'm gonna put the max fluid I can right there. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna start to bleed the system, and to do that we're gonna respect the procedure that Kia recommends. You have an order to do the wheel, so you really want to get this reservoir not empty, because you didn't want to have air get inside of the master cylinder, because it's very a nightmare. You have to bleed the complete system, and it's an completely different thing. But if you do like I do, you're not gonna have problem, I promise. So what I'm gonna do to help you, I'm gonna count the number of time I push on the pedal to completely empty this reservoir. So you just have to count the number of times that you're gonna push on the brake pedal to bleed the system, and you're gonna be sure that you're not gonna put air inside your brake system. So to bleed the system, you can use a Coke bottle like that, or any bottle will do the job. You just have to drill a hole and insert a PVC hose that fits with the size of your bleeder valve. Or you can buy those cheap bleeding system. I think it's around $10 for the system, and they come with a little fitting that goes very well on the top of the bleeder valve. And I put a bungee cord on it to give me chance to hold the reservoir somewhere. So now I'm gonna put the reservoir like this. You can also buy those kind of kit. I try it, but to be honest, this is trash. That's gonna suck the fluid inside the brake system, but there's always bubbles, and the cup is not good quality, and I really don't like this system, to be honest. I prefer the old school method. You can do it alone, or you can do it with someone. In this case, my daughter is with me, so she's gonna push the brake pedal for me. But you can do it by yourself. So this cup can contain almost 120 milliliter. So I'm gonna fold this cup, and I'm gonna switch the wheel. So maybe my fluid is not too dark, so it's gonna be maybe difficult to see the difference of color when we're gonna get the new fluid in. But sometimes you're gonna see clearly that the old and the new fluid, you're gonna see the color inside of the hose. So I'm gonna count for you the number of times you have to push on the brake until that the reservoir at the front of the car is low. Because as you remember, we don't want air goes inside the brake master cylinder. So I'm gonna tell you when you have to stop. You're gonna take a 10 millimeter in this case, and you're just gonna have to crack the brake, the bleeder valve a little bit. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that's it. So now you just have to close the bleeder valve, and as you see, I place the tube to make a kind of U shape that's help to not get out air when you release the brake pedal. Air goes down there, so you want to place your hose like this. And as you see, my line is perfectly full of fluid, there's no bubbles. So now we know that we got no air inside of it. That takes 12 times to completely flush this line. So I'm pretty sure there's no old fluid in it, because the fluid is pretty clear. So as you see, the old fluid is more yellowish, so you can compare the new versus the old. So now I know that my fluid there is brand new. So now we're gonna switch to the other wheel, and the next wheel is the front driver's side. Like I said before, if you don't want air inside your brake master cylinder, do like me and push 12 times a full press on the brake pedal, and you're gonna have to, you're just gonna have removed the fluid there to almost there. So you're gonna have all that fluid to protect you to get air inside of the master cylinder. So for the Kia Sedona or Sorento, 12 times, you don't gonna mess with that. So now it's time to refill the brake reservoir. Like this. So we remove 0.1 liter with the reservoir, and now I'm gonna show you how much fluid we remove with the rear passenger side. This is the cup. So almost another 100. So we are at 200. That's perfect. So now we are ready to bleed the brake on the driver's side at the front, and I want to show you a couple of tricks if your bleeder valve want to crack, and to prepare the bleeder valve to be on seize if it's your case. In my case, my caliper is not that old and this is in good shape. I'm gonna show you a couple of tricks that you can use to not break this bleeder valve. First, you can remove this rubber boot. Don't forget to put it back. That's help a lot to preserve your bleeder valve. The first thing you want to do is to brush your bleeder valve. It's gonna remove the crust around it and make sure everything is clean before it. Okay. The next thing you want to do is use penetrating fluid. In this case, I use a deep creep from Seafoam that works well. Soak the thread of your bleeder valve a little bit. And now, you don't want to use an open wrench like that. You really want to use the round part to get the more sitting possible. So I'm gonna use this one, and you want to pay attention that you correctly sit on it, because if you're not correctly sit at the end of the bleeder valve like this and you are just at the half of it, you can strip them. So make sure that you sit properly. And what you can do before even try to uncrack it, you just want to tighten it a little bit more, just like this, like that. Sometimes that can help you to break the rust. So you don't want to go crazy, but just try a little bit to torque the bleeder valve, and now you can crack it. And the best tricks you can use if you really don't want to break the bleeder valve is to put heat around it. So you really want to take a torch and heat at each side where the thread are. You don't want to heat there, you want to heat where is the thread. So it's gonna help to dislodge the crust and the rust behind the thread and the caliper. In the case that you break the bleeder valve, you have to know that if your bleeder valve was sitting properly at the end of the thread, that means that your bleeder valve is still closed. So you can still run the car with that, because your fluid cannot go out of the brake caliper. The only thing is bad with that is that you're not gonna be able to bleed the brake anymore. So you're gonna have to drill and try to remove this bleeder valve. So if you break it inside of the caliper and it's closed and fluid don't go out, it's good. You can go on the road with that. There's no danger at all, because the fluid cannot go out. You have to really open the bleeder valve to let out the fluid. I really recommend you this cup, because the tip right there goes at the top of the bleeder valve is really good. So I think it's $10. I'm gonna put you the link inside of the description, and I hope that you're gonna buy it, because to be honest, it works really well, and it works better than that. But you can also doing the job with that. But with time, the hose gonna be harder and harder, so it's gonna be difficult for you to try to snug this hose on the bleeder valve. So those little black silicone tips are very useful. I'm gonna crack the bleeder valve open, okay, like this. And once again, I'm gonna count the number of times she push on the brake for you. Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. So now you can close the bleeder valve. So once again, we collect 0.1 liter again. So this is nice, and look the color, the before and after, it's completely crazy. So I'm really happy to do it. So now we are at the same place that before. So after 12 times pushing the brake, we still are safe for our master cylinder. So now I'm gonna top the fluid again. We are at 200. I'm gonna put the fluid inside of it, and now we are at 300, and we have 2 wheels left to do. So the number is good. We're gonna be able to reach somewhere around 500. So now that the reservoir is full, it's time to go on the rear left wheel. It's the third one. So we're gonna make the same process. We're gonna pump 12 times the brake pedal until we're gonna reach 100 milliliter. And now we're gonna full back again the brake fluid reservoir. So now we are at the front passenger wheel, and it's the last wheel we're gonna bleed. So I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna crack the bleeder valve open. Okay, let's go. 12. Okay. So now I'm gonna close the valve. So always make sure there's no bubble here in here. And look at this again. I'm very happy to do it. Okay, so now all the 4 corners are bleed. There is no air. The pedal feels solid. I'm very happy. The color is nice. Because we have bleed every wheel, we don't want to go crazy with the level, and we're gonna top off to the max line with brake fluid. The light not really help in the video, but to eyes it helps a lot. So for the little screen, you have to place it correctly. Like this. So like this is perfect. Don't forget to put back the cap on it and tight it correctly, because you don't want to have moisture get it inside there. And be careful to respect the max line, because when you press brake, the fluid can expand in the tank, and you don't want to have a spill, so you just have to let some space. So this is it for today. I hope my video helped you to do your maintenance or your car. Maintenance is the key. I'm sorry again for my bad English. I try to be well understand. And if you want to support me, please leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and leave me a comment if you have some question or some point to say. So thank you, and we're gonna see you the next time.